Hey YouTube, it's Jay. So you notice that there's been a pause. It's been 4 or 5 days where I haven't put anything up, and there's a reason for that. I have been getting more and more frustrated with the number of miscues that I've been having with the low deflection shafts. The Katana Q, there's nothing inherently wrong with Katana Qs, it's just that I've played with natural wood my entire life. And so having the low deflection shaft, and as the tip on the shaft is worn down, I've been miscuing 4, 5, 6 times a day. I had a great run with straight pull going last weekend, and I was in the middle of the second rack. It was wide open. I had a break shot and miscued. I've had 9-ball runs all the way down to the 9 and miscue. I mean, just an enormous number of miscues. And so I wasn't having fun. If you're not having fun, there's no reason to play this game. There's not enough money in the tournaments. You're not going to get rich playing pool if you decide to be a pro. Yeah, you might get a little bit of celebrity if you become one of the very top pros, but that's never really been in the cards for me. And ultimately, I knew that my playing cue was on the way back. My playing cue. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this cue. It's got some history. This cue, so I had always been a Mucci fan. I loved Mucci cues. I still like Mucci cues. I like the designs. I like that the wrap is covered on a Mucci cue. I actually like that feel where you don't have a wrap, or it feels like you don't have a wrap even though you do. You don't get dirt in the wrap and things like that. So there's a lot of advantages to covering the wrap like Mucci does. And I had always played Mucci's, and I had never liked McDermott cues. And at the time that I was learning, those were your choices. It was either Mucci or McDermott. There really weren't any other affordable choices. You had some really well-known cues like Southwest and Balabushka and things like that were out there. But they were incredibly expensive, especially for somebody who was, at the time I was 18, 19 years old, 20 years old, playing all the time. And so the reason I didn't like the McDermotts is because they had a hollow feel to them. When you hit the ball, you got this weird hollow sound. They just didn't feel solid to me. And so I had played with Mucci all my life, all the way up until about a year, I guess it was about 2000. I had a Mucci Gambler, and I had the Mucci that I'm using as break cue, as my break cue back then. My Gambler was all dinged up. It was a mess. And so I decided to trade it. Well, I really didn't decide to trade it. I had CM at CM's place, CM Lee, great guy. You may have heard me talk about him before. CM came up to me while I was playing one day and said, "Hey, if you want to change cues, I've got a really good one here." And I said, "What you got?" And he said, "It's a McDermott." And I said, "I hate McDermott. I don't like the way they feel." And he said, no, you need to check this one out." So what had happened is McDermott had decided to go into the higher line cues. They were wanting to compete with, at the time it was Joss, Sean, of course you still had the premier brands out there, the Balabushkas and Southwest and Samsara and those. But he said, "You might want to give this one a try." And so I said, "Okay, well, can I hit some balls with it?" He said, "Sure." So I hit some balls with it, and let me tell you, it was not like any McDermott I had ever played. And I immediately fell in love with the cue. Now, out there somewhere, there's that once in a lifetime cue for you that fits your style, fits your stroke, fits your game perfectly. And this one was it for me. I have had this. This is a 1998 McDermott RS11. It is the best cue I've ever hit balls with. And I've hit balls with everything from my first cue, which was a Meucci Blondie, all the way up to a real George Balabushka cue. I have hit with Samsara, Southwest. I've hit with Seagull cues. I've hit with a lot of the custom cues. I have never found a cue that plays as well as this one does. And so for those of you that have joined the channel recently, in February I sent this off to be refinished. So it had some cracks in the glazing, in the forearm, the butt, and the joint. It was time for new ferrules, and the shafts had some dings in them that were would have required sanding to take out, for me to take them out. So I sent it back to McDermott, and they refinished it, and it is like new. This cue is actually exactly the way it was the day I bought it, when I originally bought it. They did an amazing job on it. It was $311 was the total, including shipping, and it is like a brand new cue. Now this cue, back in '99 or 2000, I paid either $700 or $750 for it. It's worth, depending on who you talk to now, anywhere from $1,200 to about $2,500 in perfect condition, which is where it is right now. Today I'm going to be playing not to fix my stroke, not to fix my game. Over the last 3 or 4 days, or 2 or 3 days, I got it, let's see, I got it on Wednesday. Today's Sunday, so 4 days. I have hit some balls, but the deflection, the change going back from a low deflection to a natural wood cue has been a little bit of a shift, and so today I'm not trying to fix my stroke, I'm not trying to fix my game, I'm just playing for the pure enjoyment of having my cue back and the game of pool. And so that's what you're going to see today. I'm going to warm up with some 9-ball. I'm definitely going to play some straight pool. It's Sunday. And I may play some 8-ball, I may play some 1-pocket, who knows. But I'm going to enjoy myself and play the game of pool for fun. Not for serious, not for anything else. So let's get started. Let's play some pool.
All right, time for the daily break and run. So this first one is not the break and run I broke and I ended up behind a ball. This is the first rack of the day with my new playing cue, or well, not new, but with my playing cue back. So the only real challenge here is the, well, there's really not one now. There was the one to the 2 with the angle to get on the 3, so that I could get to the 4. And that challenge wasn't that bad. Here I'm just going to pull the cue ball out a little. I'm going to play the 5-ball down and leave a straight in shot on the 6, so I can just draw straight or roll up for the 8. So I play the 5 all the way down. The side was just a little too thin. You really want to avoid those thin cuts in the side if you don't have to take them. And then here I'm just going to roll off the end rail and up for the 8, and then roll forward for the 9. I did get out, not a break and run. I took ball in hand because I didn't have a shot. But for me to get out on the very first rack of the day without any warm-up is actually kind of a big deal for me. I always take forever to warm up, and that was just right out of the gate. Okay, so this is the break and run. I make 2 on the break. Now this one's got a little weirdness because there's no good way to get from the 2 to the 3. The angle that I have I have to either shoot it in the opposite side, which is what I'm going to do, or down in the corner. If I shoot it down in the corner, though, I have to come 3 rails out for the 3. This way, I've got the 7-8, which is actually a problem anyhow. The 7's a problem anyhow. So I decide to go ahead and deal with that problem right now. I've got the angle to run into it. I'm actually going to use draw off the second ball. That's a really good technique, or something to be aware of. When you hit a ball really thin, like I hit that 2, your English holds when you make contact with that second ball, if you make contact fairly straightforward, or fairly early after the initial hit. So here, 4 off the side rail for the 5. 5 just straight up and down for the 7. Have to adjust, so you see me pick up and reset. I need to make the 7. I need to be on the same side of the table as the 7's on, so I can just roll forward off the 8. So this is just a little bit of a, just a minor draw shot, just to bring the cue ball back just a little bit to give me a good angle on the 8. Now I'm going to roll forward and drop the 9 in the corner, on the top left. Okay. Got a little further than I probably wanted, but it's still well within the range of fairly easy to make. And there's the run. So here we're going to speed through the rack. Something that I want to mention, a big part of the game is being comfortable with your equipment. The reason that the Katana cue, why I feel like I haven't been doing as well as I could have with the Katana is because I didn't trust it. I was afraid to put Big English on it, because I didn't know what was going to happen. It was miscuing so often that I almost did everything with near center ball hits, because I didn't trust it. If you don't trust your cue to do what you're telling it to do, and be realistic, I mean, some of those miscues were on me, my stroke being bad. But if you don't trust your equipment, you're not going to get very far with it. Okay, so need to roll up for the 3 in the bottom right corner. The 4 ball has to go in that bottom right corner also, so I'm going to use left hand or right hand English, come off a couple of rails for the 4, just a little bit below center to widen the angle out. Now I do need an angle on the 5. I got a little thinner on the 4 than I wanted. I probably should have come up another 6 or 8 inches, but this lets me go back and forth across the table for the 5, and I maintain my angle. Now the 5, I'm going to use bottom right hand English to come out for the 6 ball. Just nice easy shot. Now on the 6, this is kind of a weird angle. I'm going to try to hold the cue ball up, and I overhit it and get too close to the 7. If that cue ball was another foot down towards this side of the table, this shot's a whole lot easier. But, you know, I'm having fun, so I'm just going to go for it. And, yeah, I did that. 9 ball off the table, lost a game, and that ends